All right. It says it's live. I gotta check. I gotta see where everything's at. What a day! What a day! All right. So check the YouTubes. Oh, it's on the YouTubes. Oh, it's on the YouTubes. Yep. All right. So that seems to be working. All right. Let's see if I can link the thing. Put a thumbnail on there. That. And then let's do a thumbnail. Oh. Oh. I got something else. Bigger. My heart's too big. How big is it? Let's see. Maybe I can make it smaller. That was grody. Trees all falling apart. Open that. I just save that for later. Maybe I need to do that. Try to invite Eve. Maybe that'll get you there. So how do I change the thing? I gotta find a new thumbnail. For the thing. All right, so gonna do this. Make it smaller. Gotta make my heart smaller. Hmm. Bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark. Chickens are talking. We just got fed. So goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could have helped? There you go. I had to make my heart smaller. So is that working? I hear something. There we go. Oh, hello there.
Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Does it sound okay? Because I'm on my laptop and sometimes it's better on my phone.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. How's it going? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you.
I was just having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
Pardon?
and and I think I like swallowed. I don't know. It kind of felt like it went the wrong way. But where would it have gone? Anyways, it feels like it's like stuck right here. I don't know how to describe it.
Some
But it is.
reasons.
I can
Yeah.
breathe. I'm not choking.
All right. You got a scratch.
Where is Mr. What's his name?
Braxton.
Um,
So I'm trying to invite him. I'm not great at this.
Braxton.
Hit the invite button.
I'm having a popsicle.
What kind? What flavor?
It's like the little kids one. Grape.
Great.
You know how like it's called fruit bars, which is like for kids, so it doesn't have a lot of sugar. It's like it's a combination of I'm hot and I'm cold.
Yeah. It is huge. Yeah, I drew the heart yesterday, day before. They were calling my rubies cat turds. And I was like, these aren't
Oh, I remember. That's right. You said they were rubies, and they were like, no, it's cat. Look at this knife.
Is it a flip?
Huh?
I mean,
it's a packing kind of thing. A switchblade.
it's not a switch. It's a folding knife.
Folding knife. There you go.
Yeah. Do you know how to use it?
No.
Like flip open and everything.
I'm surprised I haven't killed myself. Not killed myself, but hurt myself.
Yeah, it's the thing. I've got all kinds of. Yeah, when you have a knife, you eventually cut yourself somewhere.
Yeah, I pretty much just use it to like open packages up. But and then right now this cut this double-sided tape because I couldn't find the scissors. Well, I didn't really look for the scissors, but here's the closest thing.
I don't think I have a folding knife around here, but yeah, there's techniques that you have with the knives where you can open them like real quick, like you flip them with a snap of a wrist and it just opens.
I think you're. Are you frozen?
Probably.
Why are you frozen?
I told you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let me see if I
Let me see if I can do
put this one on.
I thought it closed everything out.
Well, I have everything closed except for StreamYard. What happened?
I'm looking at myself being frozen.
Oh yeah, you're frozen.
So, wonder what that. I don't know. I don't even know how to unfreeze it. I'm just gonna leave it there. Maybe I'll just switch the thing, do the background with the full.
Maybe just refresh. Will it kick me out if you refresh?
I'm not even gonna. Let me see if I can just do do the thing. So I'm gonna stay there frozen even without my camera on. I don't know how to refresh it. I've never actually had to do that before.
On StreamYard, I think you just like hit the little.
Probably gonna kick you out.
Try it.
So, let's see.
We're waiting for him.
There you go.
Here he comes.
There you go. We got Braxton here.
Braxton's here.
Braxton, how you doing?
I don't see you at
I'm
all.
good.
All right. So we got Dr. Eve and we got Braxton and the cat.
Hello, hello. I was telling him, Braxton, that I was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I swallowed too, like it went to the side or something. I don't know what's going on.
And she's got a knife, Braxton. She's armed.
I'm armed. I'm safe
Well,
though
then-
through the screen.
Well, that makes two of us then.
I don't even believe in weapons.
It's a tool.
Well, I do. Well, I do. Well, one because I'm from. Well, one because I'm from two. I'm from pro 2A country, and for other reasons, is a reason why I'm for weapons. Well, mainly I'm pro 2A and pro
Oh, me too.
constitutional carry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pro. The Second Amendment. Me personally, I've got PTSD, so I'd probably be like trigger happy. So I won't do it just because of that. Probably hurt myself on accident.
I've got
Oh,
scars on my hands, my everywhere. I don't intentionally, try to harm myself with the knives. It just happens. I'm like cutting something down off of something, and then the slip. I cut a portion of my finger off. I was making, what was I making? Like avocados. I was making like guacamole, and it just slipped. Yeah. Things happen. It was a kitchen knife. Doesn't have to be whatever.
And if y'all hear some noise, if y'all hear a bit of sounds in my background, it's storming outside.
Nice. It's super sunny out here. Sunny California. You see the sun coming out. Like it's not coming out. It's been out, but it's like coming through the shades.
It is 82 and cloudy here, which is unusual. It's either rainy or sunny for the last 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Being overcast. It's cool. It's kind of cool and everything. Normally, over the last month and a half, we've had these ridiculous heat waves getting up at like 99. And then we're on a weather pattern of almost every week and a half. It's like every 10 days or so, we've got these storms that roll through. So it's like 99, and then the sky's clear, and then it just gets dark, and then it starts pouring down rain, and then we've got these huge gusts of wind, and that storm lasts about 10 minutes. It knocks all the trees over, and then I have to go into cleanup mode.
I saw that picture. Is that what you mean by the cleanup?
Yep, that was an unusual one. So with that one, so it was three leads on that tree, right? And the two leads fell in the perfect direction in between that house and the other house. And the one that left standing was leaning towards the other house. And that was the only one that did not come down. If that one had come down, that would have taken out a third of that other house.
So what did you do?
I gave him a price to remove it, but I haven't heard back.
Are you talking about this one?
Is that the one with the? Yes. Yep. That's the one. So I gave him a price to remove the whole tree, but I haven't heard back. But we don't have any.
It just like went in separate directions?
Yeah. Is
it 3 parts to it, or is that a separate tree in the back?
That was 3 parts to it. So the 2 large parts came down, and then the middle one that's smaller stayed up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
why did it come down?
The windstorm that we had yesterday, it lasted maybe like five minutes. It was like a 5-minute storm. Like it was just like poof, gone. But my Sherlock Holmes tells me that it was a down pressure force on the 2 larger ones, and the one that stayed up had the most. So there's in a tree there's included bark in where all the stems meet, and that one had the most stable system of growth than all 3 of them, and so that's why that one actually stood. It had to have been a downward force, the way it pressed apart like that, because if it had been like a sideways wind, it would have taken those 2 stems to the same direction. If it had been, any which way a sideways wind would have pushed it in some other direction. So it had to have been a complete downward force of wind, like you put your thumb down on.
That's what it looks like.
Yep.
But it also looks like that tree's sick. Is that tree sick?
No, it's a maple. It was just old. It's about 70.
Oh, is that why is maple usually like that white, dried out looking?
Yeah, there's so when wood is out in nature and it gains fungus, and the different funguses grow on decaying wood. But that's absolutely normal. I mean, it's if it did not have that on there, that would be unusual.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but when people think about sick trees, usually it's a bacterial issue or a fungal issue. Then when I look to see why it's getting a bacterial issue or fungal issue, I look at whether it's been construction damaged or whether it's been struck by lightning, or there's just the soil is bad. You think of a potted plant, and you put the plant in. Over time, that plant takes up all the nutrients out of the soil, and it doesn't have any more nutrients, and people just forget about that.
Is that like a triplet, or is that one tree?
It's one tree.
How come it grew like that?
One tree with 3 stems. So it's nature. It's a natural tree. So in natural trees, it's not the same as you get from nurseries. You go to a nursery, you get one single stem for like maples. That's they groom the trees. This tree was planted by a squirrel. So a
What?
squirrel took, yeah. That's how nature works. Squirrels, squirrels are generational farmers.
Oh
They
wow.
they
Oh.
they plant, their food source, and they live, and then their kids have the benefit of that, and that's
So, what are we going to talk about?
that's up to you. I brought you on to be the one to give us topics. It's like
Braxton,
you got to have some topics.
I have two. You guys can tell me
Yeah.
which you prefer. We could talk about human trafficking, or we could talk about incels, or something else that you guys come up with.
So my stress level can't handle human trafficking right now.
Your stress level.
Yeah, if I get stressed, that just it's not good for me. So right now, my stress levels, I'm beat. I'm wiped out. I worked 70 hours this week, and if I start
70?
yeah, if I start talking, yeah, I worked last Sunday too.
Dang.
So if I
So then
start talking,
incels, does that trigger you?
no, that's just funny. I think that's funny shit.
It's actually pretty sad, to be honest. What are your thoughts about incels, Braxton?
Yeah, I really don't have no. Well, all I can say is, well, they're here and there and everywhere. There's nothing new about incels. Incels been around ever since before they were called incels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's just the definition of an incel anyway?
an involuntary celibate person.
So is it really involuntary?
Mm-hmm.
They just can't get none.
They could probably get some, like I think Koberger might have been able to get some, but it wasn't who he wanted. So sometimes an involuntary celibate wants a particular kind of woman. And if it isn't that, they would rather have nothing.
Hmm.
Have you guys ever known somebody?
Oh yeah. But I think it was just because they, a couple of my buddies in high school, they just, but they ended up with like really hot chicks later in life. I mean, married well.
Well,
So,
that's a good point. So, it's kind of like the ugly duckling phenomenon where you're kind of awkward looking, in high school, either you're short and then the summer comes and you have a growth spurt or you get muscles or whatever the socially acceptable, good looking person is. But an incel is not just looks, because if we could take a look at Elliot Rogers, he wasn't necessarily a bad looking guy. I think he might have been on the shorter side, thinner, and kind of pretty, if you will. He was, he could have been mistaken as like, what's that one term for men that really take care of themselves? Like
manscaping.
it's kind, no,
Metro?
metro, like a metro, yeah, a metro man that just really takes care of himself, kind of like a pretty, like a feminine kind of look, right? And so sometimes women kind of don't engage with them and they get friend zoned because of some lack of masculinity or a perceived weakness, right? So Roger, he wasn't ugly, but he was awkward, socially awkward, and kind of you can hear that he would be very fixated on negative, like the male version of a negative Nancy. What did you guys think of Carl Rogers? Wait, what was his name? Elliot Rogers. Sorry.
And now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about those usual white boy incels. Okay. white male problems.
Yeah.
Do you think it's only white males?
Yeah, now what I say that now that's mostly an issue. Okay, yeah, now you got your black incels and all that, but still, like I say, yeah, like guys deal with problems, but still, it's separate. It's separate because it's from separate cultures. Now, usually when it comes to in particular the white boy incels, which been a big topic for the past I don't know a couple years, maybe for the past 5.5 years. Um, uh, well, now if you've been noticing, like if you've been noticing, I'm going I'm going off of what I've been seeing, off of what I heard from what I was told and what I've been seeing and reading. Because I say, as white as I am in character, I'm still black in spirit. So I don't deal with they deal with because we come from two separate cultures. But now if you've been noticing now, a lot of white guys now who feels as if like they're losing their image or losing their country, their way of life and culture. So now they turn to other forms of positive, I guess, a positive white male masculinity. They turn to the whole Viking culture, in which a lot of them are not even of Scandinavian descent. And a few years ago, a few years ago, now guys who were of Scandinavian heritage, where whether if their family, whether if like their family's been here for I don't know 3 or 4.5 generations, or or if they're actually from Sweden, Norway, Finland, they came out and got on to they got on to the racist white guys who were trying to use the Viking culture for their image, saying, hey, hey, listen, we don't support none of that, we're not for any of that over here, so if you're like that, as a person, as a being, like, make your own image. Don't try to go into someone else's culture and take it and use it for yourself, because then you're gonna give their whole you're gonna give their culture a bad name and everything. But and let me see, and then another Viking culture, and then they turn to these armed militias like Patriot Front, Warrior Poets Society, the Boogaloo Boys, Proud Boys, and etc. And now with Proud Boys, now okay, the leader of the Proud Boys is a Puerto Rican guy, and Proud Boys now, and it kind of surprised me. Now the leader is Latino, and their members, they'll take in anybody, because on videos I've seen Asian Proud Boys, seen Black Proud Boys, and then add on to my surprise, there's even Proud Boys who are gay and bi. So so I'm guessing they're thinking the bigger their number, the stronger their group. But still, that's another positive white male image for them. And but as a Patriot Front, it is a bunch of racists. So y'all know it is. And that's for Elliot Rogers' case. Now back in 20,
Which was the Elliot Rogers? Which was the Elliot Rogers?
The Elliot Roger case was back in spring. It was back in May 24. It was back in May 2014. Now Elliot, he wasn't white. Elliot was white from his father. His father's Australian and his mother's Asian. I can't remember if she's either Chinese or Thai or Vietnamese. I can't remember. Yeah, but Elliot was mixed, but he can pass for him being white. And in some of his in his manifestos, he was writing about his past life growing up, and at the time for when he became, when he was in his preteens, in his early teen years, is when it gets is when he started questioning how come girls, women, they weren't into him, they weren't attracted to him, and then brought up one of his childhood friends, which is ironically a black guy, and he was saying that I'm growing up now, his friends could get a girls, or attract them. Like it's like his friend didn't even have to like go up to him or try to attract to attract females. They just went up to him. So I'm thinking, well, maybe because maybe because he had another type of character than you did, and if those girls happen to be interested in black guys, then it's just what it was. People are gonna go for what they like or curious about, or what they have interest in. And then he was writing saying, I hated him for it. I said, so now the boy barely had friends even when he was a kid, and as hateful and racist that he was and self-hating, because remember he's half white, half Asian, so he hated a part of himself, if not all. And so you have those type of views about others, including your own self. And Lynn, ironically, your best friend was black. I was like, dang, so they could have been your lifesaver right there. He probably could have taught you a bit of game to help you get some women if they stayed friends. Now I think they stayed. Friends. They just, I guess, like, I think they stayed friends, but they ended up, moving, to other parts of California or something. And and then I read something. I don't know if it's in his manifesto or if it was in a separate document or something. But Elliot wrote that he was at some house party, and I think it was in the same area, the Santa Barbara, Isla Vista area. And something that went on, I guess he was trying to get some girls' attention or something, but the girls, kept showing, hey, no, thank you, we're not really interested. If something went on, I think he got physical with the girls, and then some of the boys at the party had took him and like physically took him and threw him out of the party, like tossed him out of the party. And when Elliot, be feeling, ticked, he feeling, ticked, enraged, he was felt as if he got clowned in front of everybody. And and somebody else said that when they saw Elliot, they said they just saw him literally ready to explode, because he was red, he was huffing and puffing and tears streaming down his face. So I guess, like, for him, that was like the final, like, straw with him. A feeling as if, he wasn't nothing, girls don't like me, I'm this and this and that. As at the same time, I'm like, okay, you feeling and thinking all that. Now, some of it is true about you being, like, acting or being awkward and weird. Now, that's because you're acting like that. That's not because you are who you are in character. But I say you already awkward and weird, because you have hateful, you have hateful views, but I say now there's a lot of things that could have been, stopped and prevented, but hey, but still, but tragic stuff happens. So that's when he formulated the plan to go up. Can we say the KILL word on here?
I mean, I'm not talking. I mean, the unaliving, is that what you're supposed to say?
I don't know.
Yeah. The reason why I was asking, because on some people's channels you have to speak in code.
Yeah.
So they don't catch a warning or a strike.
Yeah. This is my channel. I gear it towards, like, friends and family, right? So if you want to hear whatever your friends and family, whatever you're gonna, that's who's gonna hear it. My friends and family will hear it. So.
All right. Okay. In other words, I guess Well, I guess in other words, I guess I can say it then. Yeah. Now that's when he planted to go out, and just kill random people, which is known amongst disgruntled white males. That's how they get down. I said, that's how they get down over here. Now with black dudes, and we ain't known for that stuff. We don't get down. When black guys goes after someone to take someone's life, it's on some personal level. It's either you disrespected them, their family, their girl, their homies, or whatever. Now y'all got issues. That's how they get down on that side, opposed to white guys just going out and just finding anybody, and power stab. But now originally Elliot, at first, Elliot, he meant to plan out his killings on Halloween 2013, but he changed his mind because he said too many policemen, they would have been out during the night. So he rescheduled it for spring next year, and that's when he made his last video before he went through the parts of town, shooting at people and stuff. But this one sorority house he came across. He kept banging on the door. He kept banging on the door and beating on the windows. But the girls in the house said that they had a bad feeling about it. Because number one, why would somebody be knocking on the door like that and not yelling help or something? So luckily they followed their gut instinct and then go downstairs and open up the door. Yeah, I'll be reading. So yeah,
Did they call the cops?
No, no, they didn't call the cops. I think the cops that came afterwards. I think.
Yeah,
so do you think? Go ahead, Kat.
Those situations where well, it's like, why? I mean, if you're so scared, why don't you call the cops? I mean, if it's like, oh, I got a bad feeling about this. If somebody's out there raging, that's usually my first question. If they didn't call the cops, why not? And
Yeah, right, right, true. Now I say now they couldn't have been in the Midwest or down in the South because if that would have happened to Elliot, he would have. I think them girls they would have gave him the smoke right back if one of them, if one of them or not all of them, that they weren't all carrying that piece on them, so they would have went a whole nother way down here.
So, question: do you think that that people who are incels, and before I ask you the question, one of the things that you said that they hold a lot of hate, which is true. It's one of the difference between like an introvert, somebody who just chooses to kind of be indoors more, doesn't like to socialize that much, it may be socially awkward, but it's not that they're an incel, right? So I think what makes an incel different than someone who's just like an introvert is that I'm an introvert, by the way, so I'm definitely not talking about introverts, but is that they have hateful thoughts towards women. They're misogynistic. They have a lot of problems with power. And so, do you think that incels are born that way, or do you think that the society helps create them?
well, now that leads me to my question: is it only males that are incels?
I think predominantly yes, but I wouldn't be surprised if a female might be that way. So,
Because
like, I think
I
of
mean,
the serial killer. What was her name?
well, I met girls. I mean, I met when so like in high school also, but I'm talking about high school. I'm not talking about like forever life and all that. But because I'm also an introvert. I do not. I mean, I literally have to force myself to like um, be social or that sort of thing. And I learned that at a young age for different reasons. Um, but I knew girls that they did not. I mean, they just didn't get any, and I didn't long term I didn't really follow them for like friends and whatnot. But yeah, so the guys that I was friends with that were like that. I so one thing that I learned at an early age was don't talk about don't talk about whatever if you hook up, you don't tell anybody about it. You're hooking up, and it's only the girl that knows from right. And so after a while, I started to learn that the girls actually all talk to each other about it, and so that's why I was starting to get to get a little more action because I didn't tell any of the guys that I knew. I didn't tell like my friends or anything like that. But I I knew that my friends they were not going out and doing things like that I was doing, and so it was not that they were, and they talked about it all the time. There was like because I didn't talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, she's hot, and that's hot. And everything was hot. Everything was so hot. But I never talked like that. That wasn't me. And so I started to realize, at a young age that if they're like, oh yeah, it's so hot, and they're not getting any. And so those guys, they all talked about losing their virginity before the end of high school, or the first year of college, or the second before I leave college. But they weren't serial killers. They just were. I mean, I wouldn't think that they would even snap a head off of a fly. But you know.
Yeah, so the female version of an incel is called a femcel, and they're less obvious, I guess. Um, Probably don't happen as much as a male. They're incels, but the same core kind of feeling is underneath, like that hatred, jealousy, aggression, revenge. Um, Kind of like that um, feeling like the world is unjust towards them, so it can exist. I don't think they would share their thoughts that much, And I mean, there's always like the people who are late bloomers, neurodivergent, introverts. That just because you isolate, just because you don't date, just because you don't give up your virginity, that's not what makes you an incel. An incel is like a psychology of having like very negative views of the opposite sex and feeling like they're unjust and having aggression towards that and wanting to get back at them. So do you guys think that with that understanding that Brian Koberger might be an incel?
I thought he was touched, like not touched, like as in like physically, but like mentally. Like I
I'm
was
just
listening.
like I'm saying straight up. I thought that something was already off with him. The boy was already crazy.
Yeah, I
Yeah, but
was.
still now, now is somebody crazy if they're crazy, but still somebody somebody who has autism or Asperger's syndromes or whatever else, they still have sense. So they're fully aware of what they're doing.
Yeah. So you're picking up on that psychopath, right? Or actually, it's more like a sociopath. So
I know others that have that are on the spectrum.
I'm on the spectrum.
And I'm a little deeper.
You see there. She even said
I'm
it.
on the spectrum.
No, yeah, you see that because if somebody has a learning disability, I said learning disability does not always mean what it does not. Okay, it doesn't always mean the label people are trying to give it now, whether from mental illness or intellectual disability.
Disabilities. And I don't even consider my autism as a disability. I just look at it like some people are right-handed, some people are left-handed. So
I'm right-handed.
Huh?
I said I'm right-handed. I tried to write with my left hand before even growing up. Yeah, and it's sloppy, real sloppy.
It's difficult.
Yeah, I'm straight up right-handed.
Right. So just the same way that it was difficult for you to write with your left, someone who's neurodivergent like me, it's hard for us to think like everybody else thinks. Like I personally learned how to because I learned about psychology and I know how the average person thinks, but I don't agree with most of the way that the average person thinks, if that makes sense. So I agree with you, Braxton, that just because you're neurodivergent or even if you had an intellect delay or dyslexia or anything, it doesn't mean that you're going to kill. Because you're an incel, it doesn't mean that you're going to kill. But I think that there is like a mixture of things that can happen that would create like the perfect storm for somebody like Koberger to do what they do. And so Koberger, I think, is an incel. I think he is also autistic. What kind? I don't know.
I was listening to somebody who went to the court that was in the Koberger trial, and she was watching like during closing, and she said the facial tics and things like that were one thing because everybody else except for one person, there was no back and forth with a witness on the stand, anything like that. So it was just one person talking at length, and she noticed that the facial tics were predominant. So it wasn't like he was watching somebody else do, there wasn't a back and forth. He wasn't watching a tabletop tennis match. It was one person to pay attention to, and that was when it was most noticeable that there was something not clicking right. The synapses were not firing on all cylinders.
Did you guys ever watch Dahmer during his trial?
Jeffrey?
Well,
Jeffrey Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer trial?
Mm-hmm.
No, I only heard about that.
Well, I watched video. Okay, well, obviously, I was very little in the time when it was really going on. Yeah. So as I got older, I watched. Well, first I was told about him from my mother, and then I watched different videos and documentaries on him.
Yeah, and so if you study him, because Koberger liked Ted Bundy, right? But he wasn't charismatic like Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was more of a psychopath.
I can see it in the eyes. Yeah,
Huh?
if I look you in the eyes, I can size people up pretty quick. And if I look you in the eyes, I can see right away. I don't want to deal with your souls. It's like you can tell there's no soul there.
Yeah.
So there's something not right.
But if you look at Ted Bundy, if you ever looked at him talk, I mean, he defended himself, right? I think Koberger wanted to be like Ted Bundy, but he wasn't like Ted Bundy. He was more like Jeffrey Dahmer. If you look at Jeffrey Dahmer, he's more of a
but the only difference, I can't talk. The only difference between Dahmer and the Koberger boy is, well, one, Koberger was, as far as we know, Koberger was on straight, and Jeffrey was not. Jeffrey was a cannibal, and Koberger is not.
Yes, I mean, but Jeffrey Dahmer also had already murdered multiple people, right? So, what's his name? We don't know if he has killed animals. We don't know if Koberger has done that, but one of the forensic, what's her name? The one that's well known for forensic serial killers, studying of them. She said that she believed that he has killed animals. So that's probably, if he did, that's probably as far as he got. I don't think he had gotten to doing more than what he already did. So
who? Koberger?
Yes.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced. This was not. Finally, like he finally got caught because
I don't think he did humans before. I don't think he. I think that picture where he's got the thumbs up, I think that was him. Like, I did it. Like he was proud of himself.
The thumb, I left my thumb. The only physical DNA, that's my whole sticking point with that whole thing, was that little button on the sheath and the knife. Physical thing that they had. Everything else was that's the only physical part, and they had to link that from his dad's trash.
Yeah, but they also have the eyewitnesses, right? They have the
but they did have one physical thing, and that was the thumb. The thumb piece of DNA from the thumb on the snap. That's what they had. So that was that told me, that picture told me that he had done it before. He had done it before, and he was getting fast and eating.
But if we listen to Dahmer had done it a lot. Early on.
I'm gonna bet you. I'm not staking my reputation on it or nothing, but I'm gonna bet you that Koberger has done it before, and he was getting fast and loose, and he's like, okay, now I know I can get away with it, and let me see how much I can get away with. If I can beat a DNA snap, then I can go further. That was what my intuition tells me.
So, but either way, when we look at the way he presents, whether he's been doing this for a long time or not, the way he looks, when you look at him, he does not resemble the charisma of Ted Bundy. He resembles more Dahmer. Dahmer was very robotic. He was very stiff. He could not articulate how he felt.
Were the other two, were Dahmer and there was the other ones, were they incels?
In a way, because Dahmer, I think Braxton makes a good point in the difference between Dahmer and Koberger was that Dahmer had like an added reason why he couldn't act out his sexual desires, because he was same gender attracted. So, and because of the stigma at that time, and what he thought his dad and his mom would think, he had to not hide it, but not give into it. So in his mind, he was fighting it. And then also he had an attachment problem where he didn't want anybody to ever leave him. He had a very intense fear of being abandoned, and so he would make sure they couldn't leave because he didn't want them to leave. And him eating them, he mentioned that him eating them was his way of keeping them with him forever.
Or keeping or keeping some of their limbs in their eternal organs.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and what else he did? Yeah, now with Dahmer, like now he did well. Yeah, now he did well with him. He did carry out his sexual acts. He just did them with guys because he was, gay.
yeah, yeah.
That's
But
not
it took a long time for him to even admit that.
that's
He
not
didn't
insult.
want to admit that to himself.
Oh, yeah. And another thing with that, now, his first victim, his first victim was in 1978, 1979. Now, his first victim was a white guy, and the rest of the victims were mostly black guys, but only two were Asian. I think one Filipino boy and a Vietnamese boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see how they figure into the incel conversation.
Well, not so much in the incel, because Dahmer didn't have strong negative. So Dahmer may not have been an incel. Koberger was. Where I was comparing Dahmer and Ted Bundy to Koberger was because Koberger was very not motivated, but like his hyper focus on who he studied was Ted Bundy. But Ted Bundy wasn't like him in personality. He was more like Dahmer.
So all right. So my question is medication involved in this? Because all right. So I was coaching baseball a while back. These kids, when my kid was starting up with baseball and they couldn't find a coach, I had to be the coach. So there was especially one kid with ADHD, like all over the place. But it wasn't like it was a problem for him. I was trying to help him focus on the game, and when he focused on the game, it was no problem. And his ADHD it just made him thrive in the game. And then he goes home and you can't play the game forever, so his parents decided to medicate him. And right last couple games, last couple practices, the same kid was not there.
Yeah.
And it was a completely different kid. So medication is my question with this incel, and could
Well, the incel part is just a separate part. Like we can have intersections. Like I technically have ADHD and autism, so it'd be like ADHD is what some people refer it as. And so it's like this intersection of these different kinds of like triggers, if you will, or personality traits. And so a person can have multiple things that they're struggling with, and an incel is just one part of it. ADHD, I'm not sure if Brian was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. I wouldn't be surprised as a child. But I think psychopathy is one of his biggest thing, an antisocial kind of trait, like that numb, dissociative, I don't feel human. Like he literally called himself a sack of meat and that he didn't have feelings, right? That's different than Dahmer. Dahmer did have feelings. But where they matched was that robotic kind of like very stiff presentation, very like lacking empathy, right? For the other person. Dahmer had feelings for himself, but what's his name? Koberger said he didn't even have feelings. He couldn't feel sad. He couldn't feel happy. He couldn't feel anger. So he wanted, in my opinion, I think the reason why he did what he did was to feel something, to like finally feel something. And I think he did. And I think he ended up finding what he feels. Does that answer your question, Kat? About like, oh no, because you said specifically about medication. So the medication part, I agree with you. It changes the person, but if it changes them too much, then maybe it's a conversation to have with their psychiatrist to see if they could try lowering it or changing it, because it shouldn't change them so much where they're not themselves. It should be more just to help them focus.
Yeah, there was a time period when they figured out that I've got ADD, and they put me on Zoloft,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that it was not involuntary at that point. It was what do we call it? It wasn't incel. It just nothing worked.
But this is the weird part, because Zoloft isn't for ADHD though.
It was antidepressant. They thought it was because nothing else worked. I didn't want to do the cocaine. What do they call it?
Methamphetamine.
Not the methamphetamines, but the one that acts like cocaine with
You're talking about
what's the
my brain is glitching.
the other one that everybody takes.
And it starts with an A.
Yeah, that one. Because I remember, because they did have me on that for a little bit when I was like 16, 17. What's that stuff called? I can't remember. But I learned to play chess on it because there was nothing. I couldn't do anything else. It was like there's nothing else mattered.
Ritalin.
Yeah.
Adderall is the one that I was thinking that starts with an A, but Ritalin or Adderall.
Yeah, the Adderall that was horrible. No, they switched stuff around, and it's like I was just like a walking basket of medication for like.
You know what I do for mine?
That worsens.
You know what medication I take for mine?
What's that?
Coffee.
No, I can't do caffeine. I can't do caffeine, sugar, and all that.
Why can't
Yeah, a number of those medications worsens conditions sometimes.
Yeah, my liver. I wrecked my liver during that early years of trying different medications and stuff.
Yeah, they said my liver's messed up too, but so I take a little bit of dose compared to before where I would have a lot. But they have like non-upper medications for ADHD.
Mine is work, and I chase storms. You know, my wife thinks I'm crazy because I run out the house as soon as a lightning strikes start, and I start filming. It's like everybody else is going inside while I'm running out.
Your wife must really have a lot of patience.
Yeah, she's a strong lady. You got to have a lot of patience to keep up.
As for my coffee, I like it like me, black, and I like sugar attached to it.
I don't really like the taste of coffee. So I have to put creamer in it just to make it not so bitter. But I literally will down it because I can't, and I can only have a little bit because I also have a caffeine sensitivity. But I need it to focus. Otherwise, it's so hard for me to focus.
One of my aunts told me a couple of years ago that when you put creamer in coffee, it's not coffee anymore.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's still good. I wonder though sometimes what it's like, because I've seen, since I do therapy, I've seen people before and after they take medication. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to say jealous is the word, but I'm like intrigued by seeing the change. They get so focused and they say that the world just quiets down. And I'm like, how does that feel? How does that feel to not hear everything?
That was the microwave, my bad.
Yeah, so Eve, you're psychic, right? You're an empath and psychic also, right?
I'm not saying psychic.
Well, I mean, we got different terms for it, but you hear
I
things
have
that
discernment.
you hear things other people don't hear, and the world quiets down. And that's what I when I see like that kid, I could tell he was what do they call it? What was the movie The Shining? When the old guy and the young kid they knew how to like just communicate. But that kid had it, and then once he took that medication, he didn't have it anymore.
The superpower of ADHD and autism.
Yep.
I love it. I agree with that. I love it. And even people with mania, they will say that they don't like to take medication because they feel so creative, right? But the downside is that if it's causing problems in your life, if it's causing problems in your relationships, in at work, then it's not going to be helpful. You're going to get depression and anxiety. But
yeah, the feeling nobody gets me.
Yeah, and then you feel. Then this is one of the things that I think I coach people that have neurodivergence because I want them to feel accepted. I want them to feel like you don't have to change. All you have to do is teach people about you, and that way they don't make you feel bad for being you. And then in addition to that, you just kind of learn to navigate the world. You know, I like to compare it to being left-handed. A person who's left-handed, you can't force them to be right-handed. And then you just kind of learn how to navigate through the world being left-handed in a right-handed world. So neurodivergent people with autism or ADHD or dyslexia or anxiety or whatever you've got, like you shouldn't have to change. You should just learn how to manage and how to teach people so they can just accept you as the way you are. Then I think they'll have less anxiety and less depression because of it, because you get to be yourself.
What's the old saying? What the world fears, they kill. So
Yeah.
they fear anything that's different, and then they kill what they fear.
It's sad though, because imagine if everybody was the same, it'd be so boring.
Oh my God, that'd be so boring.
It would be so boring if everybody was the same. I wouldn't even want, like, imagine like everybody was like me. Oh my gosh, I would go crazy. Or if you were in a world where everybody was like you, Kat, or Braxton, if you were in a world where everybody was like you, wouldn't you get bored at some point?
Oh yeah, I love not being bored.
Yes, ma'am, I would get, that would be pretty boring after a while.
And it's not because there's anything so wrong with us, but it's because it's like you want to see something different, right? You want to interact with different things and people.
Yeah, so my first wife,
Wait a minute. How many wives have you had? I'm not judging because I've been married multiple times too. So I'm
on number 2 now. So
okay.
The first one when I tried to explain to somebody, why I was, flittering about and doing all these things. I was like, I got ADHD. And she said, you don't have ADHD, honey. You're just bored.
You're like, okay. Good way to just invalidate my whole existence, but okay.
No, I mean, but no, she was right. I mean, I just always need something to do.
Yeah, but it's okay to give it a name. It's okay. It's okay to have a whole group of people that share the same qualities as you. There's a whole group of people that think and behave like you because of sharing that acronym of ADHD. Well, but if you say, no, I don't have ADHD, then you've just erased a whole population of people.
I meant it. I think she meant it as a term of endearment.
I get it.
Not as a slight.
I get it. I think the world has just tried to eliminate people and make us normal. Like anybody who quote unquote is not normal, they want to make us like them.
Oh yeah. So the in China they have the scoring where you can, like, if you have a bad score you can't get this kind of job. That's really, so everybody needs to be the same.
Yeah. Braxton, I'm kind of intrigued about something you said earlier. You said that you're white but you're black, but in a different way because I can't remember how you said it.
Okay. I'm white in character, but I'm black in spirit. Because as you can tell from the way I speak and the way I carry myself, you would think, oh, he grew up in the birds. He grew up in a predominantly white area, in which I did after we had moved here. After we moved here to this area, and when I'm on other panels, well, when I was on predominantly black panels, some people thought I was mixed. Some people thought I was white. Yeah, so I had to turn on my camera and show my face and my hand, and I told them, I said, yes, I am surprisingly black, and yeah, yeah, and so yeah, I might go skateboarding and bike ride. Okay, I might go skateboarding and chill out, with Tanner, Hunter, and Brad, the typical white boy names. But when something goes down, Jonte is gonna come out of me real quick. So
You say Jonte?
yeah, Jonte. I'm just making up, I'm just
Oh,
making up, yeah, I'm making up
I was like,
stereotypical
actually,
white
that's
names
my
and
thing.
black names. Yeah. So,
Well, I'm Afro Latina, so I've been confused ethnically up until maybe 30s, maybe not. Yeah, like late 20s, early 30s. And that's because in my country where I'm from, Honduras, we don't have like all the division. We do have colorism because that exists everywhere, right? But we
yeah.
don't have all the division. Like they call everybody Honduran. Um, and there may be some class differences, but other than that, we didn't have anything like when I came to America. And then when I came to America, there was a Mexican um, divide between Mexican and Honduran. And so that was my first experience of being discriminated against was a Mexican calling me chocolate, which is like, well, just like it sounds, chocolate, you know? So I didn't understand why that was an insult because in Honduras, I love my brown skin, right? And another African American, I didn't even know there were black people. Braxton, can you believe that?
Black people where?
Anywhere. Like
Oh, really?
I didn't know what black was. Like I didn't know the black culture at all because all I knew was Honduran. And then my first introduction to somebody who's not white was Mexican, right? So it wasn't until we moved to Santa Ana, where 8th grade, where I went to predominantly black school, that I was like, what? I was like in shock. But I was in shock because people looked like my color. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so, and that was my first introduction to like black. And back then, they didn't say African American. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh, I'm black. And I already knew I was black because in Honduras, like we have garifunas. Are you familiar with what that is?
You say that again?
Garifuna?
No, I never heard of that term.
So Garifuna is like a African descent tribe, if you will, that landed in Honduras. So when
Garifuna, out of Africa.
yes,
Yeah.
and so a lot of the music, a lot of food, a lot of language stayed in. So for Honduras, it's normal. It's normal to see people of African descent. Which
Yeah, so I worked with the Honduran for 10 years. Became one of my best friends.
Yeah. So
before he moved back, and he did not like the black people up here. He would say the blacka. I mean, every time he would say, he's a blacka guy. So as if I understood what he meant. Right?
What did he say?
The blacka guy.
The blacker guy? Oh, he had an accent?
The blacker guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say even Afro Latinos in Honduras would be racist against Black people. And that's just because it's a different culture, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay, so Mr. Randall, so that guy, he was a Black Honduran person.
No, he was. So I mean, he wasn't black, but he was very dark.
Well, then he was Black.
Well, I mean, that's not.
Okay, and I think I know what you mean. Okay, so he wasn't a Black Honduran man. He was just he was a Latino guy from Honduras.
My dad is from Syria, so Syrian descent, Lebanon, Syria, and my dad gets pretty dark, and I can get pretty dark if I stay out in the sun for too long. I stopped doing all that because my skins and all that, because I'm half Irish.
Okay.
But my dad is full, he can get full dark, and my dad's basically the same color as Leo, but the culture from down there is what I'm talking about. So he comes up here and he had to, the first 2 or 3 years he didn't like coming up here, but he made a lot of money and sent a lot of money back home, so he kept coming back. But yeah, he would get mad at the different people, and he was very racist. But it wasn't. I don't think it was racist. I think it was just a culturist.
No, they might have been so, but no. If somebody's like that, yeah, they are obviously racist.
Well, but he would get mad at that white lady. That white lady is that white lady, the white lady.
Yeah, but still, if you have something to get against not Black culture but Black people, the person. That guy, your coworker, whatever he is to you, he was a hateful guy.
Yeah,
and even he was a hateful guy. Period.
So I was the sales guy, and so I made sure that he made sure I was the guy that made sure that he had a job to go to every day, and his wife would make me tamales and stuff, and every few days or so I would get oh Peter, come here, I got my wife made you something. So if I knew I was meeting him on a job, I knew I was getting fed that day.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I'll say from what Miss Eve was talking about. Now, when you said you were surprised to learn about Black up here and African American. Now I don't know if you. Now I don't know, Miss Eve. I don't think so. If you're aware of the FBA or the ADOS movement in culture and lineage. Yeah, now FBA is short for Foundational Black American, and ADOS means American Descendants of Slaves. Now one is a lineage, and two, it's both a lineage and a culture, of Black American lineage and culture. It was also made into a type of movement.
Can you tell me when that started? Because
it started, it started just a few years ago. Maybe I'm assuming up to maybe 3 to 4.5 years ago. I would want to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I have my bachelor's, my master's, and my doctorate is in psychology, but I have a second bachelor's in sociology, and I'm like, I would have heard that term, so it must be a new term. So can you help me understand what it is?
Sure. And there's also different excuse me, and there's different sources and stuff around that I can put. Well, I can give you the names in the private chat, because in order for me to send you a link, I had to get off here, come back, we put the links in the private chat, or in another way, if Mr. Randall, he gave me a wrench and I come back and I put links down in his live chat. And the other way is
Discord. You can do it in Discord too.
Yeah. I was thinking about wrapping. We've been about an hour. I was about to wrap it up. So Braxton, you got to make the Discord and do the thing and hit the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love this topic. So maybe we can make our next one about this.
All right, sure. Oh yeah, and another thing the last thing I was going to say because Mr. Reynolds was about to close it out, is that and if you're also on Facebook or Twitter X, I can send it to you there too.
Twitter X. So my Twitter, what is my Twitter? My
I don't
X
do
name.
I don't do the Twitter or anything like that. I mean, I had one, but I mean, it's just like
My
if I
X.
look for a piece of information or something, says somebody look it up on Twitter, and I'll go look that up or whatever.
I'll
And
put
it's
it
still,
in.
I don't think
I'll
I've
put it
posted.
in this private chat here. It's servant. Servant. I was trying to change it, but I'm trying to find a good. Not that I have anything against my name, but I wanted to make it something more like less. I don't know, more ambiguous or not ambiguous, but less in your face.
Okay.
So my name is Servant for God 33. So that's it right now. I guess more short, more like friendly, easy to remember. So right now that's what it is. I'm following 20 people and I've got 4 followers. So, but I've
Okay.
got an asterisk or a check mark. So follow me there. I'll follow you back, and then let me know. I'm looking forward to the next one because I want to learn about that. Is that your Twitter? Or I mean your X?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Okay, let me see. So, Kat, are you gonna put one?
Well, you find me anywhere you find Cat Randall with one L. That's me. So you're only going to find me on the YouTube or the Discord. I've got a Twitter, but I don't use it. I don't do
Okay.
social. I
I think
really
it's a
got a
good one.
got a very low social media footprint. So
Yeah, yeah, okay. I guess I got yours, and I heard you, Mr. Randall, and I made sure I screenshot yours, Miss Eve. And after I told Karen, and after I make my Discord, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send the screenshot to him. So I'm gonna send the screenshot to him, and he's gonna send it to you. So it'll be easier for y'all to find me. And one last thing I'll say: the reason why the FBA ADOS thing was also made is because usually when Black immigrants in particularly come over here, now sometimes, not all the time, but usually they love to talk down and talk crazy about Black Americans being so unaware of the history here, and everything else. So that's why the delineation has started. Because if you look at it, because like white people, okay, like by culture, like in white people's culture are not the same. American whites are not the same as European whites, and European whites on the continent are different.
Jamaican,
Yes,
Jamaican. Oh my god.
100%, Braxton.
yeah,
100%.
right. Yeah, so right. The same goes for Middle Eastern people, Asian people. So it's just what it is. So yeah, so there are. It's like
I was
there.
I
Yeah.
was in Ireland. I was in Ireland, and um, it was the oddest thing. Listen to a Black person speak like native Irish, like talk to me.
Oh,
So, but
I'm.
I agree with you 100%, Braxton. I think that's where that term, not all skin folks, wait, not all.
All skin, yeah, not all skin folk. No, all skin folk and kin folk.
There you go. And I
Yeah.
believe that's where it comes from, right? To say like, yeah, we may have the same roots, we may have the same color of skin, but it's not the same problem, right? It's not the
We,
same
Mhm.
we got here
experience.
talking about the incels. This is how we got on this topic about the basic.
This is a preview for the next one, though, and it's a really good one. But I agree with you, Braxton, and I think that the more we can respect what happened here in America, the more we can educate ourselves about what happened here in America, the more we can make room for that difference. Because, just like I would want somebody to see me with all my A, B, C, D, E, F, G's acronyms, I would want people to be able to know the difference between Afro Latina from Honduras and then the African American experience here.
Mhm.
1,000%.
Oh, right. Oh, and there's another thing to that too. And the reason why we are calling on Foundation of Black Americans is because Black Americans are not because Black Americans like the native, okay, like the Black Americans who are from here, who are rooted here, we are not African, and the tethers we'll get to that in the next video.
Yeah.
And the tethers will make and the tethers that they will make that distinction perfectly clear. Like I said, black people from the Caribbeans, Africans from Africas, and Black Americans, we are not the same people.
Exactly. I agree 1,000%. But I think the respect
Right,
should be there, right? The respect
right,
should be there for
always.
everybody. And I agree that some people from other countries don't have that respect. And I think that's unfortunate and that it needs to be worked on. All right. So, Kat, when's the next one?
We'll leave that up to when we figure that out.
All
I
right.
like the same bat time, same bat channel. We figured out that we don't have like a whole bunch of people interfering, coming in, chatting, all that stuff. I like the intimate. It's nice
Sounds
and intimate.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Nice flags. I saw your Twitter or your X file. Those are nice pictures in your X file too. So see, Kat, you got to get an X so you can go in there.
Yeah. All right, maybe. All right. Well, have a good evening. Thank you, Braxton. Thank you, Dr. Eve.
Are you guys gonna see the movie tonight?
Which one?
The docuseries.
Maybe. I'm beat. I'm tired. I had to wake up for this. I ate, and that's the only reason I woke up. It was to eat, and then and then I looked on the thing, and you're like, I'm up. I was like, okay, well, all right, here we go.
All right. Well, if you guys miss it, it's on Prime Video, Amazon. You can watch it on your own. It's really good. It's really sad. I think you guys would get to hear like the family's reactions to everything that happened.
Okay. I probably would if I was on Discord, so I might end up missing it. It might be I'll probably try to catch it some other times. I'll try to.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video, and it's four parts, and they're 40 minutes each, so it's kind of long.
I have no idea what even the thing is. What is the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, Koberger, Koberger.
Oh, I'm Kobergered out.
Yeah, well, the family, you get to hear what happened from the witnesses that were there. Until
I see Koberger's written statement and like whatever he puts down pen to paper, or makes a witness.
No, this is not him. This is the victims talking.
I know I know it's. I don't want to hear from the victims. That stresses me out.
This is about their story. It's not about him.
I know, and I know what victim statements are, and I know how deep that gets, and I'm emotionally not able to handle it like that.
Yeah, it's not their victim statements. It's just them saying what happened. You know how like we say that, oh, we're not going to get to find out what happened. Well, they're telling us what happened.
Well, not from his mind. I want to hear it from his mind. I want to hear it, because that's going to be a lot of telling to me. Telling to me is why he left that little piece of DNA on the scene and gave that thumbs up. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hopefully you'll find out.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks, Kat. Bye.
Thank you.